We're late October.
Super gentle going this morning. I see some of you. That's a special thank you to the lady right there who made this room super special for us today. We wanted to make sure you had some sustenance because you're going to be hearing some really, really important information today. So I don't want you to be distracted by hungry bellies. If you haven't made a little plate over there, there's plenty of food. And I'm going to hand the floor over to Mr. Stelle, who I know is going to put his hat on at some point. So y'all help me hold him accountable to that. I'm walking away.
All right, we ready to rock and roll?
Good.
All right, let's be straight up, or as the kids say, no cap. If you don't know what that means, you better recognize quick. All right, so let me just be real with you about something straight up. Okay, you have an opportunity right now to take advantage and take share in a market that is really creating opportunity for people to separate. Okay, and there are some things that I've been talking about in the last 3 to 4 weeks that people really need to hone in and pay attention to, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, we're going to jump into it. Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I shared the real estate industry update from MegaCamp, right? And in that update, it talked about how we are at the highest probability of recession since the 1980s. Okay, and there's a general theme here for you. History has a tendency to repeat itself, does it not? In terms of economic cycles. Economic cycles, history has a tendency to repeat itself. And we're at the highest probability of facing a recession since the 1980s. Now, let's take a look at how that impacts home sales on an annualized basis. Again, I'm repeating this because I want to hone in on something very specific. From the period of 2002 to 2006, which is a 5-year period, there were 32 million units sold across the U.S. The following 2 years, the market was down 23% and 37% respectively in 07 and 08. Looking at a 5-year period again, that 18 to 22 was a 5-year period. There were 27 million units sold. And guess what happened in the successive 2 years following? Down 18% in 22, down 30% in 23. Okay? And so my question to you is, what do you think is going to happen and how long do you think it will take to get on a macro scale above 5 million units sold on an annualized basis? Well, if history repeats itself, you'd know it's going to take us about 5 to 6 years for that to happen. So my question to you is history repeating itself? And how are you preparing your businesses for that to occur? Okay, because the tide will rise. It's just not going to rise at the level or rate that many of you have been operating in the last 5 years. Let's just be real. Okay. The other thing that we're facing is we've had an influx of people entering into the industry. Okay. And when you look at the historical averages of agents and their level of productivity, on average, an agent will do about 10 units a year, going back a long-term period of history. However, in the last 2 years, in 2023, sides per agent were down 47% off historical averages. In 2024, we're projected to be down 44%. So there's more of you running around chasing fewer deals. You feel me? And it's something we need to be paying attention to. And the reason why I say that is this. More agents, fewer deals. We're entering into a recession. What does this mean and how are you preparing for your business now? Okay, because you're preparing to survive and advance. And you're not in it for a great year, you're in it to build a great career. And when you think about years versus careers, it is surviving the year in order to advance a great career. Okay? And yet we also know something very true. Last year, 89% of all transactions had utilized a real estate professional. Okay? The highest it's been in recorded history, 40 plus years. What people are telling you they value your services that you offer and provide because the transactions are getting more complex, not less. Okay? And I've been challenging the group for basically 4 weeks now to consider the last mile problem. And the last mile problem gets to the point that we spend a ton of money on marketing and leads. We spend a ton of money on tech and CRM. We spend a ton of money on AI and predictive analytics to score those leads as to who's likely to most to buy or sell. And yet the last mile problem, similarly as to how I created the parallel with Amazon, is in our, just like Amazon, their biggest problem they have to solve for is how they get the package from the warehouse to your home. The biggest problem you have is how do you get someone who's in your database, identifying them that they're in your database, and when they want to raise your hand, that you are there to serve them and not somebody else. 72% of time, people only interview one agent. 92% of the time, they interview two agents. Unless you have a pulse on their personal situation and have that relationship, agents 3 through 12 don't matter. And the reason why I say 3 through 12, because the average person in southeastern Wisconsin knows 12 real estate agents. Okay. And so we've talked about this data in terms of secret shopper analytics that says 35% of leads were never responded to, 47% of requests were not responded to by a human. The average time it took for a human to respond was 8 hours and 17 minutes, and 42% of agents never asked for their contact information. 62% of the people experienced no follow-up at all. So we have this huge conundrum, and the conundrum is we're facing a recession. The average deals per agent is down close to 50%. And yet our last mile opportunity within our business is the reason we don't convert our leads is we lose sight of the relationship along the way. And so somebody else intercepts the lead before you are able to actually have the conversation, because the average person knows 12 people and they're most likely only interviewing one, if not maybe two people. And so the relationship aspect is actually where the area of opportunity exists. And how you manage, massage, and nurture that relationship over time is ultimately what will determine your success. Because I have a very strong belief in something around our business. And it's this: winter is coming. Okay? And you have to understand how the cycles within our business play into how you prepare for your following year. So we're talking about 2025. You're in a period where we're entering into called fall cleanup. Okay, this is managing your database in order to effectively manage what your database looks like and what it needs to be and where the health of your database is heading into 2025. In November, we are entering into winter. And winter is the period of renewal because separation is in the preparation, point blank, straight up. Okay, separation is in the preparation. And there's far too many times, and I just had it yesterday with a $15 million producer at a different company who came to me and said, I take off November and December, and then I work really hard in January to pick it back up. And I'm like, and you wonder why you've been a $15 million producer for 20 years. Because their desire is to grow. It is not to remain stagnant. And yet their mindset around the time period of year is to take off instead of creating separation in their preparation. So then what happens? We get to March. In March, we have the spring explosion. And what this means, and this is factually true, 65% of all transactions in southeastern Wisconsin happen between March and September. So here's the problem you face. In the third and fourth quarter, most people are trying to play catch up. The problem is if you missed your first quarter, there isn't enough business in the fourth quarter to get caught up. And so what you need to be thinking about is, where am I heading into 2025 now? Not January 1 when the calendar rolls over. What am I doing now to prep for my success in 2025? Because I'll repeat, if you miss your first quarter, you cannot hit your annual goals. So if you're sitting here and you missed your first quarter, you should be prepping for 25. Just move on. Write it off. Okay? There's not enough business to be had in the fourth quarter, and there is business to be had. It's just you're prepping, and how you do that in the fall and winter is how you take advantage of the spring and the summer. Okay? And what I was alluding to is I'm getting back to a principle I firmly believe in. Okay? Life is about choices. And our industry is the epitome of the choices people make. Agent productivity is a direct reflection to the choices they make. Okay? Agent productivity is a direct reflection of the choices people make. How do I know that? One of the very first questions when people ask me for a consult because their business is trending in a poor direction or they're on the bottom of a downswing or whatever it might be, is I'll say, great, bring with you to me your last 90 days of your calendar. I will tell you exactly how you've spent your time, and your business is a reflection of the choices you made within the last 90 days. Straight up. Okay. So let's see how that plays out. In the fall of 2023, there was a group of people who decided to make an investment decision of their time, energy, and resources. Okay. And for perspective purposes, I'm going to share with you who the agent was. Or sorry, I'm not going to share with you who the agent was, but I'm going to share with you the location that they're in. This is a $10.2 million producer in the Southwest office. Okay. In October of 2022, this person said they were too busy, been there, done that, don't need to do it. Guess what happened in the first quarter? They had a goose egg in their business. Then they invested their time, energy, and resources. January through April, their closed units were up 200%. Now, everything you're going to see today is me talking about closed units, closed units, closed units, closed units. Why? Because you control your closed units. The market controls your market volume or closed volume. And everything you're going to see today is January through April closed units. So it is a tomato-tomato comparison. This is an innovation agent. Happens to be a $22.8 million producer. Last year, they invested their time, energy, and resources. Their January through April closed units were up 225% versus the prior year, January through April. This is a North Shore agent. Love this example. October of 2022, been there, done that, don't need it. I've already spent the time, energy, and resources. What are you going to teach me that I don't already know? Guess what happened in the first quarter? They had a goose egg. So last year, they had a real hard look in the mirror and said, I need to invest my time, energy, and resources wisely during the third and fourth quarter. Their closed units were up 266% January through April of last year, or sorry, of this year. This is a Lake Country agent, 17.8 million producer. Closed units during this period up 166%. Lake Country producer, 9.4 million. They had a goose egg in the first quarter of 23. Invested their time, energy, and resources. Their closed units were up 166%, and you can see the momentum it built for them for the rest of the year. North Shore agent, 8.5 million, closed units up 50% because they made a choice. Southwest agent, 9.1 million. They had a goose egg from December until April. I'm not sure how many people can survive December through April without making an income. They made an investment of their time, energy, and resources because they also had a goose egg October through December. There's a pattern within this person's business. Do you not see it? They have trouble during the fall. And I don't know if that trouble is focus or what. You know what they did? They made an investment of their time, energy, and resources. Their closed units are up 800%. Look at the momentum it built for them in the successive following months into the summer. And their business is up 90%. They've basically doubled their business. North Shore agent, 5.6 million. This is a new agent, new to the business. They invested last year. They couldn't rub two nickels to make a dime. They made the investment because they knew they could not afford to not be in the room. Their closed units were up 600%. They went from a struggling agent to a $6 million agent, and they're on path to double their business again in 2025. Here's a Southwest agent, 7.1 million. Okay. They had a goose egg in the first quarter of 23. They made an investment. Their closed units are up 66%. Another Southwest agent. They were distracted in the fall. Another person who I'm not sure how long you can go without making an income. They invested their time, energy, and resources last fall. Their closed units up 200%. And look at the momentum it built for their business, up 73% in the rolling 12 months, $10.1 million producer. Lake Country agent, $29 million team. The team made an investment together of their time. Closed units were up 33%. Southwest team, 31 million, up 18% during the time frame, so on and so forth. Now, you're like, oh, that's great. That's one unit in time. Let's take a look further, shall we? 2022, a group of people made the same decision. Here are the results. This person was too busy. They weren't interested. Look at what happened in the market of Q1. Units were down 71%. Volume was down 83%. This person made an investment. Here is the results. This person made an investment. Here is the results. This person made an investment. Here is the results. This person made an investment. Here is the results. So on and so forth. So now let's take a look back further. Fall of 21. Investment. Here are the results. Goose egg. Guess what happened? They made the investment the following year. This is the results. Look at the momentum they built. Here's the investment. Here's the results. Here, oh, this person was too busy. Gosh darn it, their units were down 51%. Their volume was down 38%. Tough spot to be in. Investment of time, energy, and resources. This person was too busy. This person made the investment. That was the results. Now, you might be saying, that's great. That's the last few years when the market was going up, or who knows, whatever. Let's go back to the fall of 2017. That's how long I've been doing this presentation. So fall of 2017, same thing. This person made an investment. This was the result. This person made an investment. This was the impact of the investment. The next fall, they said they were too busy. The result of that, their business was down 82%, success of 6 months. Same thing. They made an investment. This was the impact. They were distracted for 6 months. They made an investment. Here was the result. By the way, these are your peers sitting to your left of you and to the right of you. Investment, best year ever. The following year, they said it wasn't for me. I've been there, done that. I'm at the top of my game. I have my best year. Why would I need it? January, they were down 100%. February, they were down 60%. March, they were down 13%. Now, if there's anything you know about me, you know I'm a data-driven decision maker. I look for data to make solid decisions about where to put my money and how to spend my time. Okay? Bold is back. Bold is back. And it's not always about the results. Part of it is about the sense of community, belonging, and accountability that you get from being in the room. Here was last year's group of 100 plus people that took the class with Bo. The results speak for themselves. It's why I use data to help you understand how to make good decisions, right? But outside of the results, it builds a sense of community and how people get together and how they come together. A story I love about this group, this gentleman right here, his name's Jason Roman. Jason, for 20 years, worked at GE Healthcare and was miserable. He took Bold while he was a full-time employee at GE Healthcare. The following year, he was able to quit GE Healthcare, and now he's a 100% full-time agent, and his life has never been more full and rich and more balanced in the relationships he has with his family and the people he loved. And this was, Sheila, you can speak to this. This was your Bold team from 2 years ago, right, Sheila? You did great work, and the results were profound, right? So Bold is back, and today I have the pleasure of introducing you to our incredible coach who I've been chasing for 3 years to get her to want to come to leave Naples, Florida, to come teach in Milwaukee in November and December. Okay. The other important thing, I've been doing this now. This is my 7th Bold. We've never had a female Bold coach, and it was important for me to make sure that we had a female leader in front of the room who represented who we are as a community. Okay. She runs a huge team. She runs multiple market centers. She's also a mother of 4. She's figured out and unlocked her blueprint for success, and she's here to tell you a little bit more about it. With that, Amber, I'm flipping it to you.
Thanks, Charlie. How's everybody doing?
Awesome.
Good. I can't see you, so you guys are going to have to make some noise. Charlie, how many people are in the room? Now I can see you. I love it. Charlie, get out of the way. This is better. I like it. Well, first of all, thank you. I am so grateful to have the opportunity to come up north and maybe actually experience some seasons, because where I'm at, we don't have any of those. It's just hot and humid all the time. So we are going to have a good time. I'll bring some sweaters or something amazing. So my intention is I'd love to share some value. I'd love to coach you a little bit today, talk about Bold. There's been some big changes with Bold. And then also, and I think most importantly, share a little bit about me and think, can you learn from me? Can you connect with me? Am I a coach that can move you forward? Okay, because the Bold content is proven. Like, we don't really need to dissect that. And Charlie, I think the numbers show that it is proven. So let's talk a little bit about changes. So Gary Keller said, you guys, it's time for a whole new Bold. So he took all 7 manuals, set them aside. At first he tried to tweak, and then he realized this is too confusing. So he pushed them all to the side, and Gary has been in his writing room every single day for months, rewriting. And I don't even want to say rewriting, like, it is a whole different Bold. The structure, there's social media every step. We have multiple lead generation sessions. We build the afternoon follow-up on the morning's social media content. It's all about, can you have the conversations to protect your commission? Do you have a menu of services? Like, it is a bold for winning right now. Okay. And a couple of things, some of you just go there with me. I know this might be painful. However, the bold laws, Gary has updated. He's kept 8 to 10 bold laws that were originally there. And he's added on 30 additional bold laws. And then above that, he's created 10 bold truths. Can I share 2 of them with you?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So grab a pen. I think these 2 are pretty awesome. Number 1 is happiness is a choice. Bold truth number 1, happiness is a choice. How many of you agree with that statement? Yeah. Yet how many of you know you have some opportunity in that statement? Say aye.
Aye.
Yeah, we all do. Okay. I know personally I can grow in that as well. And the second bold truth I'd like to share is the path is in the math. And I can tell Charlie's really going to like that one. The path is in the math. The reality is, are you a business owner that knows, here's how many contacts I'm going to make to set an appointment? Well, if the market is down by X%, am I then inverting that or doubling it as far as my contacts so that my production doesn't go down? You guys, it's a business. A business is numbers. Do you own your numbers so that your business is predictable? Okay. We're going to talk a lot about that. It is a whole new experience. So get ready, kind of set to the side everything you've experienced in the past. He did tell us this last Friday. He goes, I'm pulling forward a couple of things that I think are staples of bold. So there will be a little bit that you'll remember or it'll feel familiar, yet the rest is a whole new thing. So we are super excited about it. So that's bold, kind of some of the updates. It is market of the moment right now. If you've watched Value Squared, it's how to take Value Squared, amp that up, create conversations to be confident in today's marketplace, okay? And take that market share. So that's bold. I'd like to share a little bit about me, okay? 11 years ago, I was a teacher and my husband was a firefighter. So as you could imagine, we were independently wealthy. That's supposed to be a joke because we were broke and we kept having all these kids. I don't know what was wrong with us. We had at the time, 11 years ago, 3 kids, 4 and under. So it was a busy time. And my husband came to me and said, hey, I'd really like to start a business. And I'm thinking, okay, well, you go do that. I've got enough on my plate. And he brought a bounce house and a Greek restaurant. And then he said, what about real estate? And I thought, oh, perfect. Like low cost of entry, like we can do this, or you can do this actually. And he said, I'll only do it if you join me. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll hold an open house or open a door for him or help him in some small way. So the first 4 months that we were licensed, we joined Keller Williams. They said God, family, and then business. And that's all I needed to hear. So we joined KW, and in our first 4 months, guess how many houses we sold?
0. She's a goose egg.
That's it. I'm probably on Charlie's statistics board somewhere. Nothing. That's nothing. And a team leader said, you guys, there is more that you should be doing. I know that you can do this. We didn't know how. We didn't have anybody helping us think differently. And so we got in bold. And I remember the first step, I did think maybe they were going to pass around snakes. I was very outside of my comfort zone. However, when we're outside of our comfort zone, are we growing or are we stagnating?
Growing.
Yeah, we're growing. Okay. It doesn't feel good. And yet that's the only way to get to where we desire to be. So I'm sitting in this room and all of a sudden they're talking about, you get what you deserve in your imagination, no pressure, no diamonds. And here's the conversation, and pick up the phone and make it happen. And for the first time in my life, I thought outside of this little W-2 employee box that had a massive cap or a ceiling that I was never going to go beyond. And I sat in that class, and I mean, it was like unleashing a beast. For the rest of that year, we sold 25 houses. We had another kid in the middle of that year selling 25 houses. Then we sold 54 our second year with a MAPS coach, partnering with a coach. Then 109 our third year. And it's just continued. We have a team that's in Gary's top 100. I got to be a bold coach. All these amazing opportunities have happened. And I say this to say, like, there's nothing special about me. There's really nothing special about Jared. I mean, like, we treat people well, we're honest, and we serve them. Yet I just needed to partner with a coach that asked me the questions to unlock what was already inside of me. Okay, so Charlie said it earlier, write this down for me. My blueprint for success. My blueprint for success. I see you writing, I love it. So write that down. And then here's what I want to point out. 11 years ago, my blueprint was around lesson plans and getting a great score on a standardized test for my students, okay? 11 years now later, it's which investment property is our next one? Are we launching a new market center? Is how can I make the October Bold the most impactful for wherever I'm traveling? How can we create more passive streams of income? How can we keep our team in Gary's top 100 and beyond? Like, genetically, I'm the same human being, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not like a gerbil right now or something. I'm the same person. However, I'm operating and executing a very different blueprint for success. So I'd like you to raise your hand. How many of you want to kind of kick up a notch your blueprint for success? I love it. I love, if you are not raising your hand, Charlie, just whack them over the head and drag them into bold. This is an easy, just kidding. We all want more for our lives, okay? For the people around us, for ourselves. So I want you to write down 3 numbers quickly for me, okay? Number 1, first number is 2024. How many units were you going to close? 10, 50, 5,000? Write down a number. And then shout it out so I can hear you. Online, there's 20 of us. Drop it in the chat box. What's the number? Not all of you at once. I can't hear anything, so maybe you're all saying it the same. Okay, 10, 14, 30. Kathy, thank you online. I love it. All right, so as any good coach, I'm going to ask you a different question. Okay, the second number I want you to write down is, where are you currently at closed and pending units? So Kathy online, if the goal is 30, where are you at right now for closed and pending units? How many of you, the second number is bigger than the first number, or you've already met your goal? Wave at me. I didn't see any hands. Charlie, were there hands?
They're shy because they're afraid of the accountability.
Okay, so Kathy's at 10. So Kathy, I'm going to use your numbers. The goal was 30. The actual is 10. So we have a gap of 20. Right now for me, write down what is your gap between your goal that you intended to do and where you're actually at. What is your gap number? Look, Kathy's all in. All right, shout out for me. What's your gap?
Nice.
7. Okay. So how many of you look at that number? Would you really like to see that number of closings hit your board this year? Say yes. Yeah. Do you think somebody in Keller Williams is closing your gap this month? Yeah, maybe even this week. Is it possible? Did somebody have a bigger number and they said no way? No? Okay. So here's what I'd like you to know is look at that gap number. The only difference is you are operating on Blueprint for Success A, and your gap requires Blueprint for Success B. It is you have all the answers inside of you to accomplish whatever your gap is. Okay, let me prove this to you. How many of you lead generated today? Wave at me, shout out. Okay, I see a few. Okay, maybe a quarter, the third of the room. I love it. Okay, awesome, Ed, way to go. So if I were to tell you this tomorrow in your lead gen bunker, a guy with a mustache named Gary Keller is going to be joining you and giving you some coaching. What would you do differently tomorrow during that lead gen session than you did today? What would you do differently with Gary sitting with you? Shout it out. More. Okay, more contacts. What else?
Come prepared.
So I'd have my call list prepared. Absolutely. What else?
Know what I'm gonna say?
Yep, I've got I used to use, those science fair boards that are now like $30 for your kids on Amazon. So I used to have one of those little science fair boards and all my expired scripts were here. My FSBO scripts were there. My circle prospecting, my open house conversation, my follow-up on this. I had all these scripts and I was constantly dancing. Okay. So I love that. You'd have it prepared. Okay. What else? Some of you are like, I would have actually done it in the first place. Okay. So did we just prove you have all the answers inside of you to accomplish the goal? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you think about growth and where you're going and desire to be, it takes partnerships with coaches that are going to ask you questions to pull out the answers that are already inside of you. You just gave me a great example. What if you had a child, someone that you cared about deeply, and I said, hey, what's your listing goal? And you said, I'm going to sign 2 this month. And your child that you care about deeply needs a medical treatment that you can only pay for in listings. Signed, closed listings. Do you think your goal might increase a little bit? If their medication could only be paid for in listings? Yeah, absolutely. Yet sometimes, do you think we let ourselves off the hook? We set an easy, comfortable goal. Yet Charlie talked again and again about you make the choice. Well, you make the choice and the choice makes you. I'd like to share that question's really important to me because about 3 years ago, my daughter Addison, who if you are on social media, you'll see me post about her all the time. I have 3 boys and then a girl. Thank you, God, for not another boy. Anyway, Addison was diagnosed with a genetic disorder that would make her a little person. So she'd be about 4 feet 6 inches tall. And I'm 5'8", okay? Her brothers are over 6 feet tall. And it was very surprising. And when we met with the doctor, he said, her growth trajectory right now is actually decent. It's just that her bones in her body are fusing closed. And the treatment, because of where she's at now, I don't know if the insurance is going to cover it. Well, what do you think my answer to that was?
Yeah, no problem.
I don't care. Tell me the cost. And he said it's going to be about $60,000 every quarter. I love Kathy said, I will do whatever it takes. Kathy, that's the definition of commitment. You better believe it. So sometimes we can kick into another gear that we don't know exists until somebody asks us the right question or we're put in a situation where there is no other option. I had a coach, I'm going to share one final question with you. I had a coach ask me this. He said, I just auditioned to be a Bold coach and he said, all right, Amber, how many streams of income do you have? And I am passionate about wealth building. We will talk a ton about that in the class. And at the time I met with him, I said, well, my real estate team and maybe Bold, like if you'll pass me, please. And so I had 2. And then he said, okay, well, by the end of this year, you are going to have 5 streams of income, each of which produces you $200,000. What do you think my immediate reaction to that was? I mean, my first thought was, ooh, that would be really nice. And then my second thought was, are you crazy? I have like 94 children. I live in a shoe. I sign over 10 listings a month. Now I'm going to get on an airplane for Bold. Scott, there is no way. Like I like the thought of it, the idea, yet there's no way of making that happen. And he connected, makes me think about my conversation about my daughter. When the why is big enough, the how will show up. By the end of that year, Bold was a thing. Our team was still pumping and running and doing awesome. We launched a title company that year. We got really serious about profit share and we purchased our first 3 vacation rental properties. And I know all of that potential was inside of me to operate that blueprint for success. Yet I didn't have a coach asking me the questions to unlock that blueprint for success. So I want you to think about the next, and it starts now because I know Bold is still a month away. I'm doing coaching calls every 2 weeks for those who are enrolled so that we start accountability right away. I met with the group earlier today that's already enrolled. I want you to think, could 3 months, 4 months of questions like this move me forward? Create that gap that I have currently in my life? Could it help me close that gap? Could it help you create the blueprint for success that maybe you don't even know or think is possible right now? Do you think that's possible? That by partnering with a coach to ask the questions, you could achieve more? Yes or no? Yeah, absolutely. So listen, if I can do it with 4 kids running around most of the beginning days in diapers, and I didn't share this. I know I shared it earlier today. I still pick up my kids almost every day from school. I've got a homeschooler on the other side of that wall. So don't let anybody tell you you make the choice, whether you have a beautiful family or a robust business, because I promise you, you can have both. Okay, so my question for you is this. You know, life is a book. We are the author of it. Are you going to hold the pen and write the story, write your blueprint? Or are you going to give the pen away? I'm too busy. I've done this before. I don't have time. I don't have the money. And give that pen away so that your limitations write your book. Because that's really what we're talking about today. So I implore you, get off the bench, join me. You will have a very accountable coach who does care deeply about you. So, all right, Charlie, any questions? I want to know who's taking it. Wave at me. I want to see who's in.
The group's in.
Are you all in? Yeah.
Look at this.
You're gonna seem hesitant.
Amber, well, we thank you for jumping on and pouring in and allowing the group to get to know you. And guys, we're looking forward to seeing you in the first step to Bold on October 9th. Now, a few logistical details for you, okay? We heard you. The zoo for the last 2 years, dark, dingy room. We're going to the War Memorial downtown with plenty of natural light, plenty of parking, and easy accessibility right off the highway. Cool. The other thing to know or to note is we're going to continue with the schedule 8:30 to 1. We're going to power through lunch and ask that you guys bring snacks throughout the day as a way to get you out of the room earlier, because I know what it's like at 2 o'clock when you're sitting in that room. Okay. Lastly, let me walk you through something, because many people who haven't taken Bold before might be saying, what's Bold cost? Because Bold is a cost. It's not a cost, it's an investment in your business, and it's an investment in Amber holding you accountable and helping you build a culture and community. Okay, so let's just do some quick math. Anybody know what the average per closing commission is right now in this market center?
87.
Just north of 9K.
Wow.
Okay, now, so the average deal, is 9K. Okay, Bold costs an investment of your time, energy, and resources. Outside of monetary, you have to invest your time through 6 to 7 weeks. Now, let me ask you a question. And Tony, Ross, those that I know are investing really heavily. What's your typical return on investment that you look for any dollar you put into real estate or any sort of investments that you make? What are you typically trying to make?
At least 7 to 1.
7 to 1. Okay. Ross, do you have a metric that you look at from an ROI baseline?
At least 3 to 1.
Okay. Anybody else have a baseline that they look at from a return on investment for every dollar they spend? They want to get something back? No? All right, I'll just share. My personal, it's 4 to 1. For every $1 I spend, I'm trying to get 4 back. Okay. Now, Bold costs $799. Here's the way the math works. If you do 1 incremental deal, the return on that investment is 12x. So in Tony's scenario, who was looking to make a 7 to 1 return, it more than is close to double the threshold of how he would spend $1. I would spend this $1 all day long by my own personal metrics of a 4 to 1 ratio. If you get one incremental deal, you basically cannot afford to not be in the room. Now, also we know this, as you know, I'm a data-driven decision maker. The average agent in our KW Milwaukee atmosphere who goes through Bold closes 7 incremental deals. Okay, 7. 7 times 9,000 is what? 63,000. What's 7? Someone with a calculator. What's 7? What is 63,000 divided by 799? 78.8. 79x return on investment. And my challenge to you is, do you plan to be average, or are you trying to be average within what it is that you're trying to do within the businesses that you're trying to build? If you're trying to be average, it's a no-brainer. If you're trying to just get into the room to get the one incremental deal, the investment makes 100% sense. I don't know why you wouldn't make it. And life's about choices. Sound good? So you have a choice to make October through December, early December. Amber and I will be in the Bold room to pour into you, to hold you accountable, and to will you to success in 2025. Make sense? Now, a few other details for you to share is this. Also today, we're offering a payment plan where you can pay it off over 3 months to help create bite-sized opportunities for you to get into the Bold room. If you want to participate, there's an opportunity for you to do so there. And lastly, 2 things. 1, we have scholarship money. Last year, we spent $15,000 to $16,000 across the 4 locations in southeastern Wisconsin, giving away scholarships to people we believed in who had a need to get into the room, because I know what it does to change people's trajectories. And I've also had people who have been the beneficiary of many people's investments that they've made in them, and they want to pay it back or pay it forward. There's an opportunity for you to donate to the scholarship fund as well. All of the scholarship money comes from someone to the left of you or to the right of you through the fines of those of you that are a little sloppy on your compliance paperwork, right? Sarah Papp and Defender Dawn know what I'm talking about. But we raise money to ensure that we invest in you to get you into productivity, and it starts now. Cool? Love it.
Senior discount?
We'll consider the ARP card if presented. Fair? Well, Amber and I are looking forward to it. Amber, thank you for giving of your time to our group here in Milwaukee today. And we look forward to hosting you in Milwaukee.
Likewise, and I'll send out the invite for the next coaching session for everybody who's enrolled in Full Bold, okay?
Awesome.
See ya. Thank you, Charlie.
Thanks, Amber.
Guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So there's our Bold coach. Here's what I would also tell you personally. Look, I went through Bold for the first time 7 years ago, and I walked out of there and I was like, what the hell did I just walk into? Okay. The reality is, the reason why I've gone back to the room every single year, it's like the old adage, a man never crosses a river twice. Okay. You're never the same person that you go into the river, and you're never crossing the river at the same moment. You learn things by different perspectives based on the season of life that you're in, for those that have been in the Bold room before. And I know what the impact of the culture and the community has on helping people navigate both personal and professional problems in order to help them, as Amber talked about, unlocking your blueprint to success. Starts October 9th. Cool? All right, I'm going to leave the registrations up while we go through coming soon's new listings or unique buyer needs that people might have. Euler? Yes, Mr. Alex.
We have a duplex coming up on South 19th Street, Milwaukee. It's a 2-1, top to bottom, no garage. 185 in the next week or so. And then I have a debut house, my rental, coming up soon. 2-bedroom, 1 bath, nicely updated.
Wait, who's next?
St. Francis. Thursday. Nicely updated. window, backyard, garage, my backyard, green.
That's it? All right, one last question. Yes, Mr. Crickford.
I have a two-bedroom, two-bath condo in Berlin for parking. Next week.
Beautiful. Yes.
Okay, so we have the condo on Reservoir Ave, going live on 9/12. It will be listed at 399.9. It's a two-story condo, two-bed, oops. Let me see, bed, two bath, 2,400 square feet, two-car attached. And then we've got, another property on KK, and that is also gonna be going live, in St. Francis on 9/12. That one will be listed for 279.9. Single family, three bed, one bath, 1,800 square feet, 2.5 car, detached.
Beautiful. Food, anything? You got,
Right? You guys can like do your pin drop. Right now. It's like.
yeah, we didn't play enough games today.
We're just waiting.
There we go.
I'm ready to saddle up.
There's the other. You guys all saw the balloons that are up front here, kind of on the floor, hanging around?
Yeah.
Anybody know what's in there?
Scholarship.
Money.
Money. All right, here's the deal. You register for Bold right here, right now, whether you do it online through the QR code or if you want to fill out a paper form, I'll help you get registered. If you do that, you just pop a balloon and we'll get you some cash back once you go to Bold. Deal?
Come on up.
Giddy
Come
up.
on, Alice, let's go.
All right, guys, with that, have a great and beautiful day. We hope to see you